You ever try to figure out what a massive global company actually does? It's like their websites are designed to be confusing, right? A total maze of jargon in different divisions. Well, today we're going to cut right through all that noise. Let's dive in and unpack the energy empire of WHT Global.
I mean, that's a huge question, right? Powering a whole country, it's so much more than just, flipping a switch. You need massive infrastructure, tons of different energy sources, and these gigantic coordinated projects. And that's exactly where a company like WST Global steps in. They're operating on a scale that's, well, it's kind of hard to wrap your head around, which is precisely why we're breaking it all down for you today.
Okay, so here's the plan for today. First, we're going to get a feel for the company as a whole. Then, we'll see how all its different parts, all these sectors, actually fit together. After that, we'll zoom right into their energy division, check out what they really build, and then at the end, we'll tie it all together to see why it matters. It's a pretty clear path to understanding this absolute giant.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, getting to know WHT Global. So on the surface, you see this massive international company, but their true scale, it's not really obvious at first glance. You kind of have to unpack it piece by piece to see the full picture.
And this really gets to the heart of the problem. You look at WHT's portfolio for the first time, and it just seems chaotic. You've got construction, finance, tech, real estate. It's all just kind of tangled up together. But, and this is the key, there is a clear logic connecting everything. Our job here is to untangle all those threads and show you the real structure holding it all together.
Okay, let's move into our second section, because here's the thing. To really get a handle on their energy business, you first have to appreciate the just sheer scale of the entire corporation. We're talking way bigger than just one industry.
And this illustrates that point perfectly. Just take a look at this list. I mean, from building skyscrapers to filing tech patents and managing huge financial assets, WHT Global has its hands in pretty much every major part of the modern economy. And that diversity, that's where they get their power.
So this chart gives us a really great visual of that portfolio. Each one of these slices, it's a massive business all on its own. But for the rest of this breakdown, we're going to zoom in on just one of these key pieces of the puzzle: energy.
All right, on to Section 3. So to handle its enormous energy operations, WHT doesn't just have like one giant clunky division. No, instead, you should think of it more like a team of super focused specialists. Each one has a very specific job to do, and that's how they manage all that complexity.
Now, the key phrase you need to know here is integrated energy utility. That's really their core identity. And what it means is they're involved in everything, from start to finish. We're talking from the initial design of a power plant all the way to delivering electricity right to your home. They literally cover the entire energy life cycle.
Okay, now this table, this is probably the most helpful part of this whole breakdown. It takes that big idea, integrated utility, and splits it into 5 super clear roles. So you've got a team just for renewables, another one for actually running the power plants, one for everyday customers like you and me, a different one for their big business-to-business clients, and then a special projects team that handles all the new construction. See what I mean? It brings clarity to the chaos.
All right, let's jump into Section 4. We've seen the org chart, we know the structure, but what do these teams actually build? This is where we get into the nitty-gritty of what they can do. Everything from massive traditional power plants to some really futuristic digital platforms. I really like this slide because it tells such a clear story about their strategy. See, on one hand, WHB builds and runs the absolute bedrock of our current energy system. We're talking nuclear plants, dams, thermal units. But then, on the other hand, they are pouring money into what's coming next. Things like green hydrogen, smart city networks, and these IoT platforms. You can basically think of those as the smart operating systems for our future energy grids. So yeah, they're playing both sides of this massive energy transition.
And look, this isn't just them talking a big game. When you actually look at their specific renewable projects, their commitment is crystal clear. They're not just, sticking up a few solar panels here and there. No, they're developing entire systems for things like hydropower, green hydrogen, and massive energy storage projects. This is their real blueprint for a greener future.
So how do they actually build all this stuff? Well, they follow this really clear, modern blueprint. It all starts with super detailed planning before construction even begins. They use what's called a design-to-build model, which just means one team handles the whole project, from the first sketch to the final product, which makes things way more efficient. Sustainability is baked in from day one, and they use virtual design to get everything perfect before a single shovel even hits the dirt. It's really methodical and super high-tech.
Okay, we're at our final section. We've looked at the structure, we've seen what they can do.
So now it's time to zoom back out and ask the most important question of all. Why does any of this matter? What is the bigger picture here?
And this quote, which comes from their own materials, really gets to the heart of it. A company this big isn't just an energy provider. I mean, its projects create thousands upon thousands of jobs, they drive huge economic activity, and they literally shape the physical landscape of our world. Their impact goes so much further than just the electricity they sell.
So if there's one big idea to take away from all this, it's the power of being that one integrated utility. Honestly, that's their superpower. It's the ability to design, to finance, to build, and to operate everything, from a massive physical dam to a complex digital grid. And it's all under one roof. That kind of integration gives them incredible control and efficiency in what is, let's face it, a ridiculously complex global market.
And all of this brings us to one final, really critical question. We've seen what a giant like WHT is building. We've seen how they have a foot in the old world of energy and a foot in the new. So what does that tell us about where we're all headed?
And maybe that's the answer right there. The future of energy might not be about one single winning technology, you know? It's not just going to be solar or just hydrogen or just nuclear. Maybe the future belongs to these integrated giants, the ones who have the sheer scale, the deep expertise, and the capital to build it all. And, more importantly, to manage that incredibly complex transition from the old to the new. It's a pretty powerful thought to leave you with.